Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Somers Town Board regular meeting starting here at 7:08 Thursday, November 16th, 2023. Before we start tonight's meeting, can everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. There we go. Okay, let's start tonight's meeting. Patty, can we start with a roll call, please?
Yes. Councilman William G. Faulkner.
Here,
Councilman Faulkner, can you please state where you are?
I am in Georgetown, Texas, in the common room of Sun City Retirement Community.
Thank you. Councilman Richard G. Clinchy.
Here.
Councilman Anthony J. Sirico.
Here.
Councilman Thomas A. Garrity Jr. Supervisor Rob Sgrano.
Here. Okay, let's open up tonight with public comment. Make the motion to open up public comment. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody here for public comment? Okay, if no one's here for public comment, I'll make the motion to close out public comment.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
So
Aye.
moved. Okay, Patty, can we have department reports, please?
Before I do that, I will state that we have noticed where Councilman Faulkner is. I forgot to mention that during roll call. I have reports from the town clerk, building inspector, zoning board of appeals, plumbing bureau, fire prevention, parks and recreation, planning and engineering, tax receiver, and director of finance.
Okay, thank you very much. Now to the business of the board. Some town board, we're going to give a quick update. Today, salt was delivered to about 37,000 tons. That is 4 times the amount that we've ever received before. And that was put into, is moved into our new salt shed. And just to let everybody know about the new salt shed as well. And I think it's important to do that. Along with all the grants that we have, that salt shed only cost the town $50,000. And that was from also from the hard work that the highway department did with their own labor. So it's, we are ready for the storm if we have any this year. So we're in really good shape. So that's pretty good news here.
You know you're in a small town when the big news, we got a salt delivery.
We got a salt delivery.
That's what you call.
That's very true. It was big news for those guys. First up here to talk about is Somers Police Department, FirstNet devices. Give you a little highlight on this. It's a portable device that can be deployed anywhere and create a portable Wi-Fi hotspot, allowing officers on the scene, regardless of their cell phone carrier, to use Wi-Fi calling on their phones, utilizing the MegaGo extended range on the extended range high power government only channel. And then the device has an Ethernet jack, so it can also be used in case of internet outages at the headquarters, bringing our phones and station house computers back online within minutes. So that is a really good thing. I think you guys have probably looked at this before. I am going to make a motion here to approve the FirstNet devices.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so moved. Okay, Chief, that was easy.
You want
It's easy. Thanks for coming. Do you guys want to come up and mention anything about it, or
Want to tell us a little about it, or
it'd be great since we have you here?
but 3 minutes? Just how does it work? I mean,
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me. Yeah, so basically it is just like you said it very well. It's this device and it uses a channel. It's called band 14. It's only available for government. It's a high power channel approved by the FCC. So let's say, for example, you're at an event, the 4th of July celebration, hundreds of people there, everybody's on their cell phone. And if something happens, now it's an emergency, everyone starts filming, data use goes through the roof. Now we need to start operating because
you can't.
an emergency. But with this will set up and it just literally open up the box, press a button, we're up. Now you have a Wi-Fi hotspot on that high power channel where your cell phone, everyone else's cell phone is 1/8 of a watt. This device is 1.2 watts with antennas attached to it. So once we get that going, we're going to be going like way far. Even if the cell phone towers, kind of shaky service or whatever, we're going to be able to get right through. In addition to that, whatever they're doing, everybody else with their phones, this band 14 will allow us to get through because we're government. So we'll get through no matter what anybody else is.
So Sergeant, so essentially you're accessing cell towers?
Yes.
So this is a coordinated effort from all the carriers or either?
No, this goes specifically through AT&T
So-
FirstNet because they receive federal government funds to set this up for government agencies.
Okay, so they have a FirstNet service. It gives a very high priority
Correct.
to your signal.
But all cell
Regardless of-
carriers
Regardless of cell phone carrier.
benefit.
Right. So how it would work with different people with their phones, like let's say I have an Android phone, I'm on Verizon, the other person has T-Mobile, you're just going to set up Wi-Fi calling and connect to that hotspot with the MegaGo device. Once you do that, you're on AT&T FirstNet and you're getting through.
So is your thought from operational on the ground point of view, you're going to use your cell phone?
Correct. Or our cell phone, computers, anything else, just like a Wi-Fi hotspot in your house. You just
all right.
whatever you connect to it is going to be able to get through. I just got off the phone with OEM before I came here, and they demoed it. They love it, and they use it in not in the portable version, but in a
Will you suffer from the same sort of blind spots that we have on the network, like on 35, if you had to open that up there?
right. So
Would you-
places like that, because the device is 10 times more powerful with the combination of the higher power and the external antennas, we'll get through. And the person who was our FirstNet agent went through our area and was able to get through in all our dead zones.
Awesome. And
Would-
is there a fee for all that? What does the service cost?
Yeah, so it's just like a regular SIM card service. So
Mhm.
numbers I think are attached to your document, but I believe we have it right here.
I mean, this is important. Now you could do
Right.
also, what about the highway department and all of
Highway
that?
Department has it currently. I
Well, it could be used anywhere. So
think Highway.
if we deploy it, like personally, I think we should have one at the police department, one even here. I mean, if we had a hurricane come through and cause a lot of damage and we lose cable, you're going to lose your phones. You want the supervisor's office up and running.
Are there service level, are there service levels that I'm going to say guarantee, but they probably wouldn't guarantee them, but this will operate, when there are drastic, situations, even the best systems have.
Right. We're still operating, it's not a government run agency, it's commercial.
Uh-huh.
However, they do get millions of dollars from the federal government to keep their sites up, to maintain them, to have backup generators and all that stuff. So their systems are supposed to be up. They also have a fleet of trucks that can come out with mobile cell sites if needed.
And the equipment itself, is there a capital cost for the equipment?
There is. So the equipment itself is the $45.99.
4,500.
Right.
Okay. And so if we got two of them or three of them for $10,000, we increase our safety profile by.
Yeah, I think this is, in this day and age, is a very important thing to have.
And anyone you're talking about a scene of an accident, something like that.
Mhm.
Would anyone who's there be able to tap into this?
Absolutely. So just like if you had someone come over your house and you say, hey, what's your Wi-Fi password? We could set it up, say, hey, password is, Somers Police, and you put it in and they're up and running.
So if someone's in an accident, they want to contact family, they can't get it through their regular cell phone.
They
They
could.
could have the officer could tell them how to do that because
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't deploy it at just a regular accident, but if it was some major incident where we had a lot of stuff going on, we could do it.
but a person can't just put on by them. Let me see what Wi-Fi is here. Oh, I'm on.
Oh, no, because we wouldn't have it out, only during.
Right.
emergency.
Okay.
How big is the equipment? I mean,
It comes in its own Pelican case, so I don't have the exact.
so it's carryable.
Yeah, it's actually I do have the dimensions. It's 18
All right,
18
cool.
by 14 by 7.
Good.
Not that big.
Good.
And the battery, the box has the battery in it, so it lasts for 12 hours on its own. You could charge it with a car or generator, anything.
Just automatically connect the officers or yourself or the chief with Westchester County police or state police, or it just stays within
It-
our?
Yeah, it's basically just a Wi-Fi hotspot. So anybody coming, like another thing to remember is like if you used it once before and now 2 years later, just as if you went to someone's house 2 years later and you already were on their Wi-Fi, it'll automatically connect.
So, I mean, the point though is that this sort of raises your priority of the access point.
Correct.
But if the network, largely speaking, is being bombarded, because of something,
It puts them right to the top
Dire.
of the list.
puts us at the top of the list, but does it carry you through the network? You know what I'm saying?
Right. So the main issue is going to be getting to the cell phone tower because of everybody else trying to get through.
But will it give you priority to complete
It-
all beyond that?
So beyond that is right through their network. So that I
What I'm saying is that, the network itself can get congested if it's a very
right. So
proper.
that part I don't know about, but as far as the actual, because those cell sites are designed
I
that,
understand.
yeah, okay.
Do our officers, are they expected to bring their own cell phones, or are they given out at the department as part of their
So we do have
everyday
phones now.
rounds?
Yeah, we do have cell phones now that the officers use, but they can use their own if they wanted to as well. Like anybody can use any device on this because it's just Wi-Fi.
What do the officers do?
Right now, they're using they're actually it's a mix. They use their personal cell phones, but they also use the department phones.
Do they differentiate as to when they use them and for what purposes?
For the most part, like if they're like calling someone about an accident report or something like that, they'll use the department phone so they can, if someone wants to call back, they can call back the department number.
So on official business or
Correct. Yeah.
more official,
Yeah.
the most official business,
Yeah.
they would use it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they would carry too many?
Yeah, basically, because that's how we're doing it right now. The other part of this is we wanted to get FirstNet devices, cell phones, to replace the current cell phones that we have on Verizon, because that would give us also that FirstNet quality. But it also has a push to talk button on these phones, which allows us to use a new county service that came out maybe about a year ago that allows any member of the police department anywhere in the county, actually in Putnam, even in New York City, to talk to one another through the internet. And it's just a push to talk service. And basically, if I grab that, I have it right here on my hip, actually, this is from the county. I just grab this, press this red button, I'm talking to 600 officers all at the same time.
That's cool.
And so while I've been on this,
It's great.
in this position, in this job, what's been interesting is the changes in technology that have come, and as you catch up with them.
Right.
Proposals to put an antenna on the water tower were very big for a while, and then for fire, they get some priority on things, and then the police.
Mhm.
It's been interesting. I would think at some point all these, at least in terms of EMS, fire, police, all the public safety, that those would all be integrated. Is that something that is on the horizon from how you see?
Well, there's a county system in place right now. That's a trunk system for all the fire and EMS. They're rolling out a police one as well. I don't know where they are with that right now, but that is the idea. So you have bigger police departments, White Plains, Yonkers. They're going to be on their own system because they like it and they spent a lot of money on it. But for departments like ours, we hope that one day we'd be able to jump on a county system where you could be on a portable radio and talk, anywhere you got to talk to, because it's a countywide system.
Yeah, I mean, there's times you have to just talk to your department. Hey, over here, I need another car for whatever reason.
Yeah, the state.
The whole county to know that.
Yeah,
But
state
other times you might say, hey, we got a big thing going on, and you never know.
right.
You want to get all the help that you can get.
Yeah, the state radio service that we use now is pretty inadequate for police service. There's a lot of
In that.
inadequate. Yes, it's very hard to communicate a lot of the times.
All right. So we got a job for you then. Fix that, would you? Start it.
Well, good. This sort of gets us in the right steps in the right direction. We were stumbling on this with telecommunications task force, the highway department, the police department, fire department, always trying to identify, improvements during emergencies. And it's really very, very difficult. The systems that are down at the county level, when you think about it, if you have your own radio system, you're on your own bandwidth, right? And so there's all these bandwidths all over for every one of the municipalities.
Mhm.
So it's just not a matter of just picking up something and going with it. You have to have your bandwidth, you have to have your county, and you're over talking one another and its range is only a certain amount and there's capacity issues and
Yeah.
when you're trying to call somebody in another county, there's somebody actually down at the county level unplugging something, putting something else in, right?
Well, the county is really pushing out this new system to try to get.
It's very expensive too.
It's very expensive. The mobile radios now operate on multiple bands, so they can, basically when it goes in your car, you can talk to anyone. You just got to find the channel. There's like hundreds.
This is an inexpensive step in the right.
It's a very expensive step in the right direction, but I think it's at this point, it's needed.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
All right.
thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
For coming.
All right. Now on to number 3 here, Water and Sewer Department. Fred, if you would like to come up, Fred McQuillan's our head of our Water and Sewer Department. He's going to talk about the next 2 items for us. The first one that we're going to discuss here is the Hidden Meadow water rates.
Sure.
So if you want to tell us how we came to here.
Hi, Fred.
Good evening. So Hidden Meadow Development is fairly new, as you know. And when it was built, I'm not sure who spec'd everything out, but they put in 1-inch water meters in these residences, which are, 1, 2 bedroom. I think the biggest they have maybe is a 3-bedroom.
Does that mean you have 1-inch meter and a 1-inch pipe? Is that
Yeah, 1-inch service
Same.
line coming in with a 1-inch water meter. And in that, we set up the accounts and we bill them by meter size, basically every quarter. And a lot of residents question that. And my answer to them was, well, we bill by meter size. That's what we do. And long story short, they all got together and put a petition together.
what was their proposition? Should be another size?
Well, they're questioning, basically the size of the water meters that were installed in the homes.
And essentially they're too large.
Their 1-inch meter is a commercial size meter.
Oh.
Most of our customers are on a 3/4 inch or 5/8 inch meter, which are drastically different charges. Even, homes in the preserves, the bigger residences, none of them have these 1-inch meters.
So the nature of the problem is that they have a more expensive situation because that's what was
Really,
engineered for the
yeah,
site.
and I don't know how they came about the 1-inch water meter spec. The flow rates on that are go from 1 to 50 gallons per minute, which equals 72,000 gallons per day. Just way overkill. Whereas your average 5/8 meter, you can get 28,800 gallons per day out of, which is still more than abundant for most places.
But they're paying for usage, correct?
They play usage is billed separately at a tiered rate. And this is a standard meter charge we charge every quarter.
Okay. So they're saying that charge is too expensive.
Yes, that's the gripe. They're being charged the commercial rate for residential houses, basically. And
How much difference is that?
so the current charge for the 1-inch meter charge is $112.90
112,
per quarter.
what is that? 112
$112.90 per quarter.
per person,
That's
per house, per resident.
for residents, right? In the district, we only have 27 other customers with 1-inch meters, and the bulk of them are commercial. The vast majority of our customers pay $56.23 per quarter for that basic meter charge.
That's for the 3/4
Yeah, 5/8/3/4.
or 3/4. Okay.
And that's, out of roughly 1,200 customers on the water end, not counting
Yeah.
commercial properties.
Yeah.
So it really, I don't know why they were spec'd out with 1-inch service lines.
Is this a tariff and some sort of then code? These
The rates are in the town code, yeah, based on these meter sizes. Really, there's no reason for those residences to be spec'd out that large, that much volume. They don't have systems. They don't have irrigation outside in the lawns.
So the meter charge is really recovering what? The cost of the actual equipment?
That's our minimum charge to be hooked up to the system per quarter, regardless if we use water or not. That's the charge.
So what do you want to do?
I think we should lower it for, I mean, to be
What
fair,
do you want to do, Fred?
to be fair, we should definitely lower for them. I don't see any reason. We're not going to incur any costs there. I mean, it's brand,
How much revenue do you lose?
we're going to lose $4,422 over a year.
Does this create an issue with the other ones? So you're going to just do this across, as long as you're commercial. If you're residential, you can kind of come.
Yeah, most of our commercial accounts are already set up commercial and they get billed accordingly.
Okay.
You know, and most of the commercial accounts are larger meters, 2-inch, you know, things like that, shopping center. But
You have to recoup that $4,000. So
no, that's the thing. Everything's brand new there. We're not going to have to spend any money there for at least 10 years to replace meters or anything like that. So if we give them a lower rate over the next 10 years, they'll more than pay for a meter here and there, or a radio system, you know, what might fail.
Okay.
And honestly, the average on the meters last 25 years, the radios, you're getting 12 to 15 out of them. So it'll be a while before we have to replace anything.
okay.
You want to go from the 112.90 down to 56.23.
Well, you know, most of the new residences were putting in 3/4-inch meters, which comes with an $83.02 charge, depending on the house size.
Okay.
For the size of those residences, 56.23 would be more appropriate. That's a big step down, though. I recommended the 8302,
Okay.
which would be more appropriate for newer construction and what should be in there.
As long as you're consistent, and you have a plan in terms of how you want to do this,
Yeah, I
I'm okay with it.
again, I don't know how they got spec'd out that large to begin with. I wouldn't have recommended that by any means. Somebody had to somewhere.
30 bucks,
$28, so
$30 almost a month.
a month.
About every.
We can use that savings to pay for their utility bill,
Sure.
or the electric utility bill.
Absolutely. It would go a long way for the residents. It would, these days. And, you know, it really wouldn't hurt us much.
Oh.
Okay.
We're rescuing NYSEG again.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
I could say that because Tom's not here.
Yeah, it's not the norm to go backwards, but I feel like this just wasn't done correctly in the first place.
Well, I think it's fair. It's kind of interesting that they got together and they actually saw the difference and
Yeah, well, a lot of them questioned, you know, why so much? My meter charge is more than my water usage.
got it.
You know, so that's
All right, that's fair.
a valid argument.
Good. Well,
What do we have to do? Vote on this, I guess, or
yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll do this one first, then Brett, I'll have you talk about the next one, the fire hydrant.
is that right, Roland? We vote on this?
Yes, you have to vote on that.
So I'm gonna make the motion here to reduce the hidden metal water rates from 112.90 down to 8302 per quarter. Get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so moved. And if you'd like to now talk about the fire hydrant purchase.
Yes, sir.
Well,
Okay.
it's up to fairness and affordability.
Yeah,
Right.
listen, anytime you put money back in a resident's pockets, it's always.
I think the impossible has happened. Government has voted to lower costs for the taxpayers.
Sometimes,
Well, what government does is they lower the increase.
Well, we're in the right direction.
We're in that direction.
anyways. Okay, so fire hydrants. We really need to start getting going on replacing some of them. We have a lot of older ones, Shenorock, Amawalk, several that are inoperable. Yeah, I mean, this is not, you know, new knowledge. You guys know this. I was approached by Siglock Systems, who makes these new Spartan fire hydrants. There's a few of them in Heritage Hills already. They gave us a demonstration. I reviewed the specs, and, they had a cutaway, the whole thing. They gave us a show up there. And they look well made. They do. New materials, stainless steel, Teflon, all the,
It looks
good-
like out of space.
they do look spaceshipy. They're more secure. Anybody can go up to an old fire hydrant these days with a pipe wrench and open it up and take water. These things are not that case. They take a special wrench. So it saves on theft. Not that we have a big problem with that here, but it does happen.
Are they more expensive? What?
They're actually cheaper.
And when you talk about fire, it's just not that top. Is it actually going into the ground?
No, yeah, this is 5 foot down, the whole thing. It goes down to the water main.
Yeah.
So, normally most of our hydrants are made by Mueller, which has been the standard for a long time. They've been around for a long time, but they're quite expensive. 3,800 these days just for one hydrant. The hydrant by itself, and that's not, obviously any labor, installation, anything like that. So this company approached us and they gave us a good pricing at 2,700 per hydrant. Like I said, after the demonstration and reviewing the specs, I think they're good. They're good quality. Good quality.
Is it a company that's going to be around? I mean, does it matter whether they're around?
It does. And that's important, because we need replacement parts. And that's another aspect right now. These big companies, Mueller, Kennedy, they're all backlogged. Backlog. Hard time tracking stuff down for parts and replacements.
How long has this company been around for?
They've been in business for a while now. I'm not sure exactly, but I did get a nice article from the gentleman, and Veolia is using them a lot. Like I said, they're in Heritage Hills. I think they're on their 1,000th install of these hydrants. So they've been around for a while. They're not just, fly by night, brand new.
Has the fire department weighed in on it?
They haven't, but I would imagine they approved the ones in Heritage. Right? They're in the town, and
Probably a good idea just to get them to say, yeah.
Unless they,
Yeah.
for some reason, they
Yeah.
couldn't want it. I don't know.
I don't
I mean,
why, but
They're going to have the equipment essentially unlocked.
they do already.
Reduces chance of leaks and freezing in winter. Parts don't rust or corrode even in the harshest environments. It says that this is what they say.
Hold the picture.
Money can be saved on expensive replacement parts.
They do seem quite well made. Like I said, they had a cutaway hydrant that they brought for the demonstration, and everything was pretty well designed.
We got
And they've been used in other, I think you said once, widely used.
Yeah, like I said, Veolia is doing them here, down county, Rockland County. It's actually a News 12 article. They're on their 1,000th install of these hydrants. So they've been in use for a while.
I mean, is there a sort of a bulk purchase, a municipal purchase agreement that we can latch onto with these?
So that's kind of what he gave us with the pricing, going off of Veolia's purchasing. Prices are going to go up in January,
Of course.
of course.
Don't let them do that to you.
Hey,
Well-
and based on the sum of the purchase here for this little less, about 27,000 or so, not to exceed the 29,025. Does this need to go out to bid on this?
I believe parts over 20,000 are subject to bid.
Okay. So, yeah. As much as we think that we probably have to go out to bid on this to make sure that we're following our protocol.
Sure.
Now,
So
there might
bid,
be a state bid that
we
Fred can
just
jump on, or a county bid,
Yeah,
or
that's,
some other municipality that's already done this.
you don't love. Yeah.
Veolia is private though, so I'm not sure if that
Yeah.
would
Oh.
pan out. Because I know other municipalities are using them, but I don't know if they're Veolia or not, to be.
Well, but the point is there a state sort of
Fine.
contract or maybe a county contract?
I didn't see them on the county documents.
Okay.
Well,
Way of checking for sure. We're guessing.
Just have to make some phone calls.
Check.
Town that's purchased them off of a bid,
we can
we can jump on.
we
that.
can
Right,
on-
right.
well,
Do it that
Right.
way. Do it that way.
Yeah, if you could do that, then then let us know
Sure.
and we'll throw you back on
Okay.
December.
All right. I will, yeah, I'll look into it. I didn't, I didn't ask. The pricing compared to everybody else is $1,000 less per hydrant. So,
Well, and I assume you check with the fire department, just like, you have any reason we shouldn't do this, but they also might know other departments that have used it where you can find that information on the bid too.
probably.
Yeah.
Approve going to bid.
Yeah,
If we have to, we can get that ball rolling.
going out to,
Approve going out to bid for.
yeah. All right. So I'm going to make the motion here to approve to go out to bid for the 2023 fire hydrant purchase. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
All
All
right,
right. So moved.
that's contingent.
That's contingent
on
upon that. If
Yeah.
another municipality has done this before, then let us know, and
Right.
then that won't
Right.
take place.
So Roland, if you go out and do a bid like this and you get a lower bid from Mueller, but you find out they can't get the equipment for a year, how does that weigh into the bidding process?
Well, you've got to,
Or an
Fred
extended.
is going to have to formulate a specification that provides for things like delivery times and spare parts inventory. That's all got to be formulated into a specification that can go out to bid.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, then. I will gather some information.
Cool. Thanks, Fred. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too, man. All righty, move on to number 4, the 2024 budget. We'll give some highlights on the 2024 budget here. Okay, and then I'm gonna have Bob Kehoe come up and make a few points as well. For the 2024 preliminary budget, town appropriations for the town, 16,814,210, and the general fund was 11,142,740. Increase from the 2023 budget. The highway came down 52,000. For the town here is 795,712, and the general fund 832,437. There's an increase in our electeds at 0.75 increase. Total revenues for the town, 8,961,378, and the general fund, 8,313,095. Increase from 2023 budget for the town, 1,549,871, and into the general fund, 1,259,571. Decrease in mortgage tax, about 20,000. Increase in county sales tax, 995,549, and that is across the board for the town and the general fund. Increased in interest income, 290,521, and that is the same for the general fund as well. And then increase in CHIPS, that is for the highway, that's Consolidated Local Street and Highway Improvement Program. That is what CHIPS stands for. The tax rate, 15.73, increase from the 2023 actuals of 15.26. That's 47 cents. Increase preliminary due to 4.1 million net decrease in taxable value. And that came from, we lowered down the IBM property in anticipation of the tax certiorari's that we may have to incur there. The tax rate at 15.73. Oops, sorry, I just did it already. The tax levy is 7,803,762, and that's an increase of 164,249, and an increase of 2.15. And we are well underneath the tax cap. So we are tax cap compliant, and the tax cap this year was 2.77, and we came again at 2.15%. Net additional to headcount, there are no new full-time positions that were added this year or going into next year. And other highlights, 500,000 paving in the highway fund, 2024 paving will be funded through available funds. We are not going out to bond on that. Everybody knows how the interest rates are nowadays. So we feel that it's best to go through our funds available.
And let me just say on that, that's been a long time, because there were times when we were bonding out, what was it, $1 million a year?
Two.
2 million.
Done two millions and 1 3.
Yeah, but I mean, if we go back, it was
It was 2.
a 10-year period
Yeah.
of bond
Yep.
each year.
We're in really good shape when it comes to
So,
paving, and we have
yeah,
some
I mean-
projects to do. But I mean, I think last year, this year, we did about 10 miles worth of roads this year through a highway. So they were working hard during the during our paving season, and yeah, we have some more to do. But that's good news for us.
But I do think that's a good, that's a good thing for the town. It might have been
Mhm.
unavoidable in the past, but as one person said, it's like you're bonding to cut your grass. It's an ongoing expense. And at the time, maybe it was important to the budget, but I think, since I'm diverging a little bit, credit to you who foresaw what we could do when interest rates were very low, get ahead of that.
Right.
And now we've eliminated that bonding, as obviously those rates now, everything
Right.
it's on. So I think that you deserve credit for
Thank you.
your foresight on that issue, which had brought us to this point.
Appreciate that.
Sorry, I
Thank,
didn't
no, it's
interrupt.
fine. You take the thunder. Bob needs as much thunder as he can.
Sure, I'll take it.
One of some other highlights here.
Sure.
One new police Ford 150 that was approximately 61,000. Budget for 2 part-time police officers, and then 26,000. The town board we reallocated from building maintenance within the library budget to use any way they see fit. So we freed up another 26,000 there for the library for however way they want to use it.
And that is not that there won't be that maintenance. It means that the town
The
budget
town budget will take.
will take that part of it as a town building for capital maintenance, capital improvement on that, which will allow the library to use that money for things within the library and not use that money for
the maintenance.
building. So just to make it clear.
So,
Yep, we also, another EMS fly car will be in service in July of 2024. That's approximately a 40,000 increase in the cost of a fly car. New nutrition van, that's $101,000 for new nutrition van. 41,000 came from grants, 33 came from the budget, and 26,000 came from the insurance, which is when our van was got into an accident. Low debt payments, only $742K in 2024, including a last payment for 2014 paving bond, which was $223K. That's what we just we talked about a few seconds ago. And then in 2021, we were at $1.2 million. Water and sewer levy relates to catching up on deferred maintenance requirements in those districts. We have right now $650,000. The home equivalent is a 9.71 equalization for 2024. Assessed valuation 2023 actuals 63,115, tax rate of 15.26335, and the tax was 963.35. 2024 preliminary assessed evaluation 63,115, and then the tax rate of 15.73014, and a tax of 992.81. It's an increase of 29.46, and that's at an increase of 3%.
so
Yeah, I mean,
I just make a couple of comments in the context of the larger situation. All this is happening at a time when inflation's growing at 8% and 8 and 3% recently. What's driving the budget in some respects, and to Rob's credit, I mean, the union contract's been renegotiated, so there are salary increases in there.
Mhm.
They're not exorbitant. There's maybe a few percentage points a little bit higher than they were in the past years, but again, in the context of an 8% inflationary rate, it's done very well. Rob said we're under the tax cap. Well, the tax cap is essentially a regulatory expression, what you're allowed to spend. And we've over the years have said, well, we're going to spend what we need and not, and so we have not really spent up to the tax cap over those years. So one way of looking at it is that if you take all those years, I mean, we saved the taxpayer over $2 million cumulatively over that period of
Right.
time. The other side of that is that on a risk management point of view, if somebody says, well, you didn't spend every dollar that you could have, sometime in the future, maybe you might not have that available to you. But our assessment is that we've been able to put money away throughout this whole situation. And again, that's because we really don't get out in front of our headlights. The revenues have grown faster than the expenses. And although we've used some of that growth to fund, payroll taxes, payrolls, some of the projects that we've done, Rob has done a tremendous job chasing grants like the salt shed, all that gets done for $50,000. Plus you have a highway supervisor there. There's a former building family guy who comes in there and does all the architectural work and looks at this thing. And, we're getting the value and benefit of his expertise. That's how you get these things done. So, we're investing in people. We're investing in safety, police and some of the things we talked about tonight.
And some infrastructure projects that we're going to take on will help better the town. So I think, I'm very proud of what this preliminary budget looks like right now. And I think it's really good.
So we just have to go through changes from the tentative budget.
Yep.
To the prelim budget.
Okay.
Have to be approved by the town board. These changes are already reflected in the budgets you have in front of you. So for the general fund, we're increasing interest income by $5,521, sales tax by $13,000. So those are the revenues. The appropriations, we're increasing the superintendent of highways personal services line by $4,431. The town board personal services line by $448. Town justice personal services line by $642. And nutrition, 3C and SNAP are increasing by $13,000 because there's a cost increase from Yorktown where we buy our food for our programs. The net effect of all those changes for the general fund is zero to the tax levy. In the water fund, increasing interest income by $1,262 and increasing the personal services line.
Bob, excuse me.
Yep.
So someone's listening, how they say net change to town levy, and you just increase the amounts by
We
a lot.
revenues and expenses by equal amounts.
Right.
Yes. Same thing we're doing in the water fund, increasing revenue by $1,262 and the personal services line by $1,262. Net effect is zero. And that was due to a change in the union contract that we didn't have in there correctly. So those changes will need to be approved by the board so the preliminary budget can be adopted.
Okay.
Okay.
You want to move to do?
Yeah. So I'll make a motion to.
I just want
Go ahead.
to ask a question to you and to Bill. So did we all agree? There's one part that I'm a little uncomfortable with, and you know what that part is.
I'm not sure, but go ahead.
Well, you have the town board, $112 for each. Now it's a small amount because there was an increase last year of, for people who are not in the union, 2%, and then it became 275, and this year you add that on because you didn't get it last year, and that how do you get to 3.5? Did we agree? Because we all have to agree, or we can't do it individually. It's all or nothing. So I'm just asking, did we agree to that? We discussed it briefly, and I don't mean to like bring up something, make it all uncomfortable, but it is. We have to discuss this in public. So I'm fine with not, but we have to do it together.
So the conversation was, and for the public, I mean, we're trying to be consistent with all our employees. And so what drives this is they negotiated a union contract, and which a contract that's been open for a while, right?
Yeah, we finally ratified that contract, I think in October.
Yeah.
So,
And negotiations started a year,
That, yeah.
well over that, a year and a half.
so, yeah, I mean, so the increase that was negotiated was about 2.75. And then all the employees they might have gotten what, 2% back in
2
2%.
and not the 7.5, and that's why it got added on.
So it got added on, right?
That's how you
So
0.5.
That's how you get 3.
right. So
This is
go,
in line with other elected.
yes, right.
Getting.
So in that way, they went back and applied that. For certain elected official, well, the practice that we were talking about is that if you're going to do that for the union, we always essentially extended the same rate of increase to all the non-union people. So everybody's, it all works. And so from a matter of practice, we're just saying, well, let's do exactly the same for including all electeds and whatever. And that's really the basis of what we're doing. The numbers were that for certain people, they were actually able to go back and retroactively give them that increase. For elected officials, you can't go back,
Can't go back and retroactively give.
but you can just
That's
set them,
officials.
but you can set the
diff-
salary going forward to the equivalent of, 3.5. You got that increase, you get this increase, and then you go forward. You don't get back and go any back retroactive for that, for electeds. For the rest of the town, we did that, right?
And I think that that's fair for the rest of the town. I just feel funny that we're paying me money that we already last year. And, I if we never got an increase, it's fine with me. But to say that what last year I'm making up for this year, it's talking about a small amount of money, but it's sort of the principle of the matter. But I know I've expressed this and we talk about every single year. Now, we did go 10 years where the town board didn't get any increases at all, and we were all fine with that. But at some point you say we have to make a change, because when we're all not here, you want to attract people. It's a small amount of money, $14,000 a year, for basically, sometimes you feel like it's a full-time job, but really it's a part-time job. And but you want to be able to attract people, and just as the town justices have to make enough money to attract candidates in the future, so too the town board, and we have to be cognizant of that fact. The supervisor is a full-time employee and of the people, and has a family, and so it's fully justified. And I don't mean to be uncomfortable, but I just wasn't quite sure if this is what we all had proceeded to do during the budget. And did I miss that discussion?
No, I mean, that's fair, Rich. I think we talked about it, and I kind of thought that, I supported it.
Okay.
I thought
I support it.
and Bill.
Yeah, and Tom,
And Tom didn't object to it.
All right.
But the point here is,
That's fine then. That's fine. I just wanted to make sure that we were on that page.
no,
And I understand the reasoning 100%. It's no
Mhm.
more, it's no less than anyone else in town, and it should not be more. And this isn't the same as everyone else. And we're talking about a total of $400 for 4 people. Or
400, yeah, $448.
For people, so it's not
$112.
breaking anything, but it's more the principle of the matter. As long as everybody's okay with that, then it's fine. Erase the last part of that meeting.
thanks
You
for
know,
bringing that
It's
up.
an uncomfortable discussion, but
No, it's a good discussion. It's a good discussion to have with everybody. And I think Anthony and yourself both explained it, pretty well. And Anthony's point, we're trying to keep talent. We're trying to bring talent in, especially in a small town. And to keep the talent that we have here. We've done I think a really good job in town of being cognizant to employees and making changes when we needed to, I think. But to your point, I get what the uncomfortableness of it, but I think to the point, it's just we're trying to be consistent across the board for everybody, and so this way we have a plan going forward. We have a process going forward. And I know we waited, for the 2% last year or whatever it is, and then the 0.75. And Anthony's point, you can't go back and retroactively pay, elected officials that back. So this is a way to carry it forward to next year.
And just to some larger context, I mean, I've been doing this for 12 years. We didn't take, I was a proponent not to take an increase for like 10 years or a number of years. I won't say 10,
I think-
probably that amount. And, I would say without a doubt, I mean, we've done analysis and Rich has done some of this as well.
Yeah.
Our employees here are lower paid than similarly situated municipalities across Westchester. And so, we've been in the recent 3 years, we've been looking at this and we're trying to maintain this, affordability and the fact that maintain that maybe we're not paying the highest rate, but we also want to have the best talent. And so we went through a process and we started, doing, some market increases and considering some increases in different areas. Always with the thought of, can we afford it? And are we coming in under the tax cap and all that? And what's really happening here is that the revenue is growing at a rate that we can afford to do this. All right. So, so that's how essentially, we have these lower than tax caps. All right. And lower and able to do some of these expenses, but yet not, translate that to the levy and the tax levy and putting it on the taxpayer. So, we're trying to strike a balance.
Okay.
Just one last comment. Okay, you got a question?
You don't have to adopt those changes individually. You can just adopt the preliminary as changed.
Okay.
Just.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, in terms of the agenda.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
adoption of them
So,
With discuss change, you're gonna adopt the preliminary with discussion.
as discussed.
okay.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, unknown right now is NISHIP health insurance increase that we don't have yet. So that potentially could change the budget slightly if goes up above what we expect, which could happen, although they had a mid-year decrease. I don't expect them to do that. So that's a caveat.
And you're forecasting that increase as what percent?
About 6%.
And it might, which,
It's been as high as 10 or 12.
Right.
It's been as low as
Comparison with-
2, or it's actually gone down some years.
All right.
So it's a little bit of a crapshoot, but since they had a mid-year decrease, which is unusual, I don't expect them to turn around and have a large increase.
that would, yeah,
That would be surprising.
that would be.
Right. Healthcare is very expensive.
Oh. mhm.
It is.
Yes, it is.
All right, so I'll just go off on what Bob had just explained before. I'm gonna make the motion to approve changes from the tentative budget to the preliminary budget as discussed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. And then we'll go on to here for the the set 2024 salaries for the elected officials. Supervisors salary. I'll make a motion to approve the supervisors.
You good?
Yeah. Hey,
Make the motion to all four.
all right, so I'll make the motion to approve the supervisor, town board, superintendent of highways and town clerk's salary, the increases.
Can I just say?
Go ahead.
In all fairness, Rich, if you want to, want us to split that, so the town board is separate?
No, but
Okay.
isn't about grandstanding or anything.
Oh, this is not about,
No,
I just,
no.
Okay, fine, perfect.
No, I mean, if that's what the majority says, I say fine.
All right, we're working together, we're working together. That's
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I
Yeah.
appreciate that very much. And I think that we should set the 2024 salaries for elected officials as listed.
okay. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. And then B, adopt the 2024 tentative budget as 2024 preliminary budget. Make the motion to adopt.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. And then C, schedule public hearing for preliminary budget for December 6th, 2023. That is a Wednesday. I'll make the motion to set the public hearing. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay. Where are we off to? Okay. Let me get this stuff here. Review referral responses with regards to, we have 2 of them here. We have a request for a stop sign to be placed at the northernmost intersection of Addison Way and Robert Martin Boulevard. Just let everybody know there's been no objections from the town police on that. And B, to request for 2 three-way stop signs in Heritage Hills at Westridge Drive and West Hill Drive and Westridge Drive and Waterview Drive. And there were no objections from the Bureau of Fire Prevention. I'd like to make a motion. Yes, go ahead, Patty.
So there's no addition of the Somers record for November 30th.
Got
Which
it.
is when we would have to publish these to have the December
Yeah,
14th.
We just found that out. Yep.
So we can either schedule them for the 6th or state that we're going to put the notices in the journal news, or schedule them for in January.
I am going to say, let's go for the December 14th and go in the journal news.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, get it done.
Yeah. So I'm going to make the motion to set the public hearing for A and B for Thursday, December 14th to be published in the journal news. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay. On to number 6.
You know, it
Oh.
might actually work out because that's a Wednesday, the 6th, and so if anyone was going to come, they may not even think of that night. They may say, hey, I'm going to go to the town board meeting. So in effect, it might turn out to actually be a good thing.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do A, B, C, and D separately, okay? And then authorize the supervisor to execute. A is a New York State Department of Transportation highway work permit application for non-utility work associated with the installation of a sidewalk along the north side of US 202 between Heritage Hills Access Drive and Heritage 202 Center. And B, a crosswalk across the western approach of the intersection of Route 202 and Heritage Hills access to Chico's Access Drive and pedestrian push buttons and indications. We've been working on this for quite some time now. We have a lot of, I've explained this before, we have a lot of students walking across the intersection. Some run across like it's cattle, running, so we've talked to the DOT. And we're at this point now. I've mentioned it a bunch of times before that we've gotten the approval, and this is just another step to try to get this work going. I mentioned it last week that we would look to start this type of work in April, right after April 15th of next year. And it's just another way for the town to continue to add safety as one of our initiatives here for town, especially for our young population walking between both shopping centers.
Rob, you deserve the credit for just dogging this to the last second with those guys, just pushing. I mean, it's been on the radar screen to put that there for a while.
Yeah.
And we kind of think back about making this a walkable community. One of the things, you would always talk about, Rich, but now we do have one. We have kids coming up from the from the middle school, and they're walking into town. I was just talking to Doreen Stoker last night. She lives over by El Forno, and her kids walk to school. They come from over here, they go all the way across, and they walk to school, which is a pretty awesome thing. The goal is to try to get the sidewalks to connect at some point, but right now the kids are just running diagonally across that crosswalk over there, the intersection.
Cattle crossing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's pretty, it's pretty busy.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're right. I mean, I think for 16 years, been talking about that. There's so many reasons why I think this makes sense. It is safety. And anyone who's in town knows if you're on one side of 202 and you're going to go to the other side, you drive usually, which is like crazy, but you can understand why people do it because there's no real, you could be a cattle and race across, but you want to do it in a more systematic and safe way. And that's why this is a great improvement.
Go ahead.
And I can say that in the past, we've been told, no, it's impossible. It's just not going to be allowed. And so, yeah, some credit to you
Thank you.
and anyone who's worked with you to get this approved, whether it be in the state or locally, because it just makes such common sense. And as Anthony says, the more the walkable the town, the healthier we are. It, by all real estate measures, it increases the value of real estate. It is what home buyers look for, shopping in a walkable area, close to mass transportation. Still going to think about getting that sidewalk down 116 to the train down there. I think that'd be a great thing too. We got turned down once, but maybe we'll keep going to that. And your doggedness will provide a model for us to continue on that way. And these are things that this is good for someone. So yeah, this is a good thing.
And thanks, guys. It's not only about myself taking the going after this, but I have Steve Wolfel, who our town engineer, who's been instrumental in talking to the DOT on my behalf, making the phone calls, pushing them, going out there on the site visits, putting on the vest, make sure we don't get hit, and really trying to make it a more walkable community for people and safety. But yeah, to your point, people have to drive across from one shopping center to the other, and it doesn't make any sense. So let's get something there so people can park one place, walk to the next, and vice versa. So it's one step. We have a long road ahead, but it's a good thing. So on that, I'd like to make the motion to authorize the supervisor to execute.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Move. Okay. B here, the proposal provide traffic consulting services from Hardesty and Hanover LLC for the peer review of the proposed residential development Trailside Estates, which is located on the south of the Somers Common Shopping, Somers, New York, in the amount of $8,500 plus out-of-pocket expenses per referral from David Smith, Director of Planning. Anybody have anything on this? Or if not, I'll make the motion to authorize the supervisor to execute. Can I get a second?
Second,
In
Second.
favor?
aye.
Aye.
So moved. Okay. C, authorize supervisor to execute the proposal from Adelaide Environmental Health for lead and paint and PCB of caulk inspection of the house and detached one-car garage at 5 Cottage Place, Granite Springs, New York, for the estimated amount of $7,170 per memo dated November 9th, 2023 from Thomas J. Tuma Jr., building inspector. And also just want to just add one other thing in there, to add a 20% contingency of 1,434 for these services, in addition to retaining services for oversight from Woodard and Curran not to exceed 1,500. We've talked about 5 Cottage Place for a while now. It is a house that is needs to come down. It's very dangerous. It's been abandoned for quite some time. We've had some issues there at the house, and we've had this on the town board agenda for many months. And now we're just going to go make sure that we're doing the environmental testing for lead paint and PCB caulk inspection. So I'd like to make the motion to authorize the supervisor to execute. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 So move. Thank you.
Yeah, we're going slow tonight.
Yeah. You need another Snickers? So
Call me fatty.
I didn't call you. I didn't. No. And then D, the collective bargaining agreement between the town of Somers and International Brotherhood of Teamsters, Chauffeurs, Warehousemen, and Helpers of America, Local 456, effective January 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2023. We had worked on the collective bargaining agreement for some time. We finally got all the signatures that we needed. We'll be back to the drawing table again coming up. But this will allow from the 2021 and through December 31st, 2023. So I'd like to make the motion to allow the supervisor to execute this contract. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so moved. And Patty, we do have one add-on. This is the Drinking Water Source Protection Program, the DEC from DEC grant. This is also to help protect public drinking water. It's a free grant. This would just allow the supervisor to sign into this agreement. Can I get a motion? Can I get a, I'll make the motion. I get a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
So moved. Great, thank you. Okay, on to Parks and Recreation. Request permission for Supervisor Scarano to enroll in the TIPS cooperative purchasing for the purpose of securing items from qualified vendors per memo dated October 9th, 2023 from Stephen Ralston, Superintendent of Parks and Recreation. This request has been vetted and approved by the Director of Finance, Bob Kehoe.
I just want to ask Bob a question if I can. Just what are the things that, maybe I already know this or maybe I don't. What are the things that are included in this cooperative purchasing agreement?
It's a co-op that anybody, any municipality can piggyback on. It's like a state bid, but it's a separate entity that does these bids. We also use Sourcewell for this. I mean, there's various companies that do this that we can then piggyback on without having to go out to bid.
Oh, right.
So it's not any specific thing.
Oh,
They have many different,
and participate with, that's right. We discussed this once before.
and we have done things through Sourcewell before. We've never used this one, and this is for the one of the signs for the Grease Park
Oh,
that we're looking at.
that's what he's looking
That's
for,
what we're looking.
but it can be used for other
It
things.
can be used for other things.
All right.
And now we've got more capability of comparing Sourcewell with tips and other programs to see if we get the best price.
Always looking for, right, saving
Yep,
taxpayer money as we can.
taxpayer money.
All right, good job.
Sure.
Thank you.
Good job on the overall budget, Bob. You always keep us honest.
Try.
There's a lot of detail here. It's not
Not-
easy to be as accurate as you are. So thank you.
Thank you. We have a lot of help and all the department
You
heads.
think you're what keeps us honest?
Yeah, yeah.
Without you, we're like wandering just all over the place.
I don't mean morally honest. Very difficult to understand everything that's going on here.
Yeah.
And
Did you keep my golf
Yeah.
shot on us? That's what I
Yeah.
want.
you add a lot of context.
Thank you.
Oh.
Appreciate that.
Thanks.
Good. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so I'll make the motion here to request permission for the supervisor to enroll in the TIPS. Can I get a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Okay, we have finance, no additional business. Highway, no additional business. Personnel, we do have some current vacancies across our boards, Affordable Housing Board, Partners in Prevention, Veterans Committee. We have upcoming vacancies here that are expiring in 2023. Library Board of Trustees, Partners in Prevention, and a Zoning Board of Appeals. If anybody's interested in serving on one of our boards, please get in touch with my office. And we'll kick you in for an interview to get to know you. Also, number 3 here, acknowledge the resignation of Michael Bergen, school crossing guard for the Somers Police Department, effective November 16th, 2023.
Was he stationed here by the middle school?
He
that the
was, yeah.
Gentleman?
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for the time you did it.
Yep. Thank you so much. That was a big help to us. So thank you. Consensus agenda. If nobody has anything on the consensus agenda, I would like to make the motion to approve the consensus agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Okay. We do have some on our calendar coming up here. We talked about before, December 6th, which is a Wednesday, which will be our town board work session. And December 14th at 7 p.m. will be our town board regular meeting. And then we hop into our calendar going into January. Can you believe it or not? We're almost into January here. January 4th, our town board and organizational meeting and our town board work session. January 11th is our town board regular meeting. And then February 1st and February 8th. All of those times are at 7 p.m. We do have some town board announcements. Westchester County 2023 Senior Citizens Hall of Fame. Catherine Casella, and then John Curry, our Somers Planning Board Chairman, and Janice Lubin, Kirshner, I think, will be representing Somers at the Westchester County 2023 Senior Hall of Fame ceremony. They are part of the 61 deserving seniors in the Westchester County Hall of Fame class of 2023. Janice Lubin Kirshner will be receiving the top honors at the ceremony, and that is going to be taking place on Friday, December 1st, 2023 at 11:30 a.m. at the Westchester Marriott. And you can purchase tickets if you'd like to join at the westchesterpartnership.org. And then we're on to Thanksgiving, where we have our turkey trot. That's the 5th annual. That's on Thanksgiving morning. 8 a.m. is the 5K time trail race. Shirts for the first 250 5K registers. And then 9 o'clock is the 1 mile fun run / walk, and medals for the finishers. That's at Somers High School. If you haven't signed up, and hopefully there's still some space available, runsignup.com, and registration ends November 22nd. And then Town of Somers holiday celebrations, Sunday, December 3rd, Somers Townhouse here at the Elephant Hotel, the front lawn. They have the Knights of Columbus nativity scene, dedication and blessing, and that's from 3:30 to 5. Photos with Santa in the meeting room here. Somers Historical Society open house on the 3rd floor. Holiday music, sing-along, and complimentary hot cocoa on the front lawn. And that is sponsored by the Somers Lions Club, Somers Historical Society, Somers Chamber of Commerce, Somers Girl Scouts Troops, 1455. Town Christmas tree tradition, photo in front of the tree with the 6-foot ruler through the holiday season. And then the Christmas tree lighting will be at 5 p.m.
Nice.
Yeah, it should be a good one. And then December 7th, the town of Somers menorah lighting ceremony at the Somers Townhouse right here on the front lawn. And that's at 6 p.m. And then refreshments will be served here in the courthouse. And then the Holidays on the Hill annual train show. That is Saturday, November 25th to Sunday, December 31st. Lasden Park and the Veterans Memorial. Times and tickets are available at lasdenpark.org. The exhibit is presented by Westchester County Parks and the Friends of Lasden Parks Arboretum. And that is all I have for tonight. Patty, do you have any fun facts? Yes, she does.
Okay, well, I'll start with today is Dwight Gooden's 59th birthday.
Nice.
There is 87 days till spring training.
I was going to tell you. I looked it up.
Oops. Shush.
Sorry.
For Bill, we will congratulate the Somers girls soccer team and their wonderful run to states. They did a great job. And this Friday at Mahopac High School, Somers will be playing Averill Park. Averill Park is located in the town of Sands Lake in Rensselaer County. And I happen to have a big New York State town clerk's family and know Barbara Hanson, their town clerk, but we're still going to beat them.
Very nice.
Hey, good.
Sorry, Barbara.
Yeah.
Anything else, guys? Rick, anything from you?
No, I was prepared. Patty, tell her
I told you.
87 days till spring training, but okay. I guess winter sports started on Monday. Yeah.
Anthony, anything?
Just remind everybody that, Sustainable Westchester and our contract, the 18-month contract concludes this month. And the new contract goes in place next month for another number of months. I think it's over a year. There will be a rate increase in that contract. It's the supply. It's pretty significant, about over 28%. But that's what the competitive rates are right now. And so just put everybody, it's not under our bailiwick to basically do this, but we have a community aggregation program that we subscribe to as a town with other municipalities to get the best rates that are available. And these are the best rates that are available right now. So welcome to inflation.
Mhm.
And I did get a phone call from Sustainable Westchester. If you're interested in solar energy, you can sign up through them to be part of a solar energy farm, but they have to be built, they built. And then when there's customers, but you gotta have a supply somewhere. And so I got a phone call that in fact, there was some new one or more new solar farms upstate, because they're all in New York, that people can sign up for. So Sustainable Westchester is what you would contact on the internet or by phone if you're interested.
Yeah, I just wanted to say one other thing with regards to the rate increase and the contract that we sign. If you're unhappy with the rate, you can opt out. If you think you can do, you think you can do better. But,
And the solar will save you 10%.
yeah, so
$2.
we're just trying to do our best to stabilize, some of the costs and increases that the community is, experiencing.
Well, I don't have anything further to say for tonight. I will, yes.
Oh my gosh, Brett.
Yes, it is Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. And then I'll make the motion to adjourn tonight's regular town board meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye,
So moved.
have a great Thanksgiving.
Good night. Thanks. Happy Thanksgiving.
Have a good
Thanks,
Thanks,
Roland.
Roland.
Guys, thanks.
Thanksgiving, guys.